Today, along the towpath, I'm joined by Graham Locke from the FIA. Graham's come all the way from Dubai to join us today. Not exclusively for us, I have to say, but we've managed to steal his time. He's been very generous with this as well. So hope you enjoy the talk. It's been very interesting and it's been very much about the FIA. Well, welcome, Graham.
Thank you for having me.
All the way from Dubai, no less.
Well, via Essex, yes.
Via Essex. How long are you in the country for?
To the end of August.
Oh, okay. So we've got you for a little while yet. No,
Yes, you have.
So, well, why don't you introduce yourself first of all? So, who you are and what do you do?
I'm Graham Locke. I'm the founder and CEO of the Federation of Independent Agents, also known as the FIA, and also known as FIA.
Which makes it very interesting when it comes to Google searches.
It does, yeah. We're there or thereabouts. I don't think we're going to knock Formula One off its perch just yet.
Not just yet.
We'll try.
A lot of money to spend on the SEO for that.
Indeed, yeah.
So, this is going to be a bit of an FIA special, really, isn't it?
Thank you.
We thought it would be a great opportunity because as Chartwell Noble, we're members of the FIA. I'm personally a huge fan. We've known each other for a number of years, from previous lives and what have you, and always been very interested in what you guys do. So why don't you describe the FIA, what it is as a network, and just give us the general gist.
Yeah, well, the FIA is a network of top performing independent estate agents, effectively.
And that's the key, isn't it?
And that's the key, yeah. So we started in 2019, so we're year 6, and it's really a mix of high quality, high caliber independence. It's a mix of products, as you would have seen on our dashboard. It's collaborative, and I think that's becoming a stronger USP of our network, how we collaborate together. And actually the learnings from what I call the intangibles are kind of far outweigh the tangible product side of things that we have now. So, as we've
the hive mind side of things.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And you know yourself, the relationships that members form together within the group are quite powerful. Yeah, massively. Because they're all great thinkers. The FIA is different from any other network out there, in that the spirit of it is very entrepreneurial. Okay. And with that, everybody's doing their own thing, because entrepreneurs like to do their own thing. But when you start to share, oh, you're doing that one thing, I'm an entrepreneur, but I've not thought of your side of how you're thinking about
notes it. And new ideas, that sort of thing, is it?
Yeah, and that's incredibly powerful in an environment where I think the landscape is changing rapidly, like never before. And sometimes that can be quite difficult if you're on your own. And it's one of the reasons I started it, is because you've got all these great business owners, but if only you could bring them together to help them grow a little bit quicker. But actually it's like turbo fuel now in this environment. It's just, as you know, there's so much going on in tech world and to understand and learn. So yeah, it's an amazing network, and everyone that's part of it is amazing at what they do, and it's actually hard to find members who fit that bill, and fit the culture, because as you know, we've created a culture within the FIA.
Yeah, it's quite a protective culture as well.
It's a protective culture, it is. It's invitation only, and people say, oh, that's not, you should let everybody in because, why wouldn't you? But our USP is the quality of the network. That's what we're known for.
That's what makes it what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the brand standards that we've set ourselves.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so let's go back to something you just said then. So you said that there was something you set it up for. You set it up specifically for something. So just drill down on that. What was your vision behind creating this network of independent agents?
Well, I think when I look around, my career, 2002 I started in agency, so 23 years.
When you were 4?
No, I'm quite lucky with my gene pool. I started it because the job I had before that was managing director of the property franchise group. So I looked after hundreds of franchise branches and four different brands. And what you found quite quickly was there was a small proportion of those, franchisees that I really enjoyed working with.
Okay.
And again, they were
quite entrepreneurial. Or?
Exactly right. Okay. Yeah, and that's the way I've always been. So you sort of go to your own kind, don't you? And
because you started your own agency, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I had my own agency, an online agency, and all the rest of it. So it just drew me towards those characters, the ones that were willing to take risks and take chances. But what I felt was in the market there was a sort of gap for these people to come together independently. So not in a franchise environment, not in a corporate world, and not just one out of the bottle.
Gotcha. Okay.
And when I looked at other networks, so what is the estate agency network landscape? Is there 20 networks? Is there 5?
Yeah,
is there 4?
Who knows?
And there's not that many in terms of how we do things. So obviously there's the likes of the Guild and Rand, etc. And people are well aware of those. They're long established sort of networks. But I just felt that niche was missing to bring the top quality, forward thinkers, the risk takers, if you like.
So that's quite interesting. So you've approached it in a different way, where perhaps one network may be more about monetising a group of agents, trying to push and promote the network for financial gain. You're actually doing something with a little bit more of a value-based approach to it.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, and I think the more, as I say, the intangibles is probably the biggest benefit of what people talk about. There's the exclusivity element, which I think is nice, because I think you find in the world of agency, exclusivity is quite a rare thing.
Yes.
And some products have launched in the past with exclusivity in areas, and they've gone really well. But then, of course, the supplier's got a bit greedy and gone, well,
Hungry hippos.
now we can open this up because we can make more money. But the FIA is never going to be 500 members. It's just not that. It's not built.
And do you think that's its superpower, or what it's going
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. You know, whether it stops at 100 or 200, we don't know.
So where is it at the moment?
Around 70.
And 70.
Yeah.
Goodness, is it really? That's a fantastic amount, isn't it?
Yeah.
So where are they covering?
So we're around the country, from Harrogate right up in the north. We've got areas of Wales covered. We go down to Devon and Cornwall now, and East Anglia. So yeah, all around. There's no sort of pattern to it. It's just as they land, really.
Well, as you say, it's less about the geography and more about the quality, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Good. Okay. So, what makes an agency? What point are you looking at an agent and sitting there saying, "That's an agent that I want in the FIA"?
Good question. It's a number of things. Brand is important.
Okay.
So when I look at the FIA, the best analogy I can give it is that we're like the Selfridges of the estate agency world.
Okay.
I'm the department store.
Yeah.
So my job is to take care of the suppliers and the products that are in my store. So when somebody shops in the FIA and they're looking for an agent, they know they're going to get good quality. They're going to pay a little bit more maybe, but they're going to get the service they want.
Yep.
If they want to go to the pound shop and shop for their agent, they can, but that's not us.
Yeah.
So it's those...
Morning.
It's the qualities of who would fit into our brand. So their brand has to fit nicely with ours.
Okay, so it's a certain level that you're after, and that's not. I'm assuming that's not price points for properties, or what is it? What's it specifically when you're saying about the brand? What do you mean?
So that's the look and feel of the brand. Does it sit nicely in the FIA group? Does it fit nicely with the existing members? And that's one element of it. The important part of it is our entry criteria. So things like minimum number of reviews, minimum standard of reviews has to be maintained. The agent who joins could have won an industry recognised award in the last 12 months. So we're looking for the people with great customer service, a good brand, entrepreneurial mindset and collaborative mindset. So that's our culture. So if I speak to someone who wants to join the FIA and they're not really along those lines, it makes it very difficult to offer them membership. Because they'll come in and upset everybody, or they'll have 20 branches, and again that's quite a big chunk to come into an entrepreneurial world.
Your mindset as an agent then, are you actually independent? Because you're starting to adopt corporate strategies, I suppose. Is that?
That's it. Yeah. And like our WhatsApp group we have is full of the business owners, and that's where you can get some really good information very quickly from someone who's on your level of thinking. Yeah, and I think that's important.
I know from speaking from my own personal experience, and for us, that WhatsApp chat alone is hugely powerful, and that the constant level of communication. There is a relentless amount of communication on a daily basis. Sometimes you switch your phone off to go to a meeting, you come back and like ping, 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 and it's great. And that's something I've always really enjoyed, is that feeling that there's a sense that you're a part of something bigger than just what you're at.
Yes.
As an estate agent, or bigger than what you just are as an estate agency.
Yeah.
And what's been overwhelming that I've noticed is for the FIA conference, which we just had last week, which was a huge success, which we'll touch on in a minute. What's really noticeable is it's almost the highlight of their calendar, and that's because they finally get to come together to feel that, there's a lot of solo operators or small operators,
Yeah.
but this gives them a part of something bigger, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, and it's a lot of friendships have been made in the FIA. There's a hell
that's
of
really noticeable as well.
Yeah, we don't shake hands, we hug. That's what we've
a lot
got
of
to.
that.
But that's not me saying
That's before the alcohol starts to flow.
Yeah, it's just I just think there's a lot of respect there, and agents in the past have not really respected each other, and bad mouth each other, and there's a lot of fighting and competition. Whereas because that's it. But because we're not competing with each other, we're happy to share. We're happy to be a bit closer.
Yeah.
And then what happens then when you build that trust is you're then more likely to pass a lead or pass some good advice. And everybody just starts to feel like they're ahead of the curve rather than behind it. And I think that's an important part of the network as well, is making sure that from a product standpoint or from where the market momentum is, who's looking after the independents?
Yeah.
Because they spend all day in the trenches. And
Yes.
very rarely get that chance to go.
They're valuing, aren't they?
Yeah, they're out valuing. They're running a business, which is difficult. So to come out for the day, like you mentioned, the conference, it just opens your eyes to the bigger picture. We're a good business, but how do we become better? And more importantly, how do we future-proof our business? As you've seen, the changes are rapid, right? And
Yes.
and we touched upon that at the conference. I think people come away from the conference going, God, I'm glad I went today because I wouldn't have known.
So talk to us about the conference then. So there's a collaborative network of agents who communicate on a almost minute by minute basis via a WhatsApp chat. There's a supplier centre where you provide PropTech tools and other solutions for members that they can have access to at maybe a discounted rate because you've negotiated on their behalf. And then there's the conference every year. So talk us through that.
So the conference itself is designed to bring them all together face to face. As we touched upon, the collaboration part is really important. But I think the suppliers that we choose or the keynote speakers that we choose have to be carefully curated for the day. So we never look back as the FIA. We always we try to look a year ahead, maybe 2 years sometimes, because it gets a bit scary beyond that. Because,
well, who knows what's going to happen next?
And people go, well, I care about the next 12 months, but beyond that, Graham, come on. So we try to just look a little bit ahead, and then at the conference we bring the keynotes together to give our agents everything they need to know about the direction of the industry. Whether that be AI, which is a big focus, whether it be product
this
side,
year, wasn't it?
whether it be social media, branding we touched upon a lot. Your brand really, really, really matters. I think a lot of people take that slide away from Toby. And I think as agents we're changing so quickly, and I think that's the beauty of the conference. It just levels you every year. Goes, right, let's just make sure we're still ahead of the competition. And whether that be in our branding, in our marketing, in our tech, in our AI, whatever it might be. And you come away with something to implement. That's the key, really. Come away with one thing that you implement into your business. And this morning you showed me your takeaway, and it was amazing what you've done in 3 days.
Well, I think that's the key, isn't it? And that making sure that we've not only in our own little world. I've always maintained that our industry, frustratingly, is an echo chamber, where you have 1%, maybe 2% of the industry that continues to raise its bar and continues to want to learn and educate itself and all the rest of it and collaborate. And the rest of the industry just carries on about its business, not really knowing what good looks like. But they think they do because they look at other agents that are doing well, so they learn from them. So there's an osmosis thing, but there's no real measurable way. There's no real measurable way there to make sure. Morning, thank you. For them to see what they've done. So something like the FIA conference, you're introducing people who they would never have had access to. So who have you had this year?
So we had Simon Ledbetter, Toby Martin, Kirsty Franks. So they came along and did a whole sort of powerhouse of marketing, 20 minutes each, which I actually learned a lot from as well.
It was amazing.
From an FIA perspective. A lot of people said to me after, like some of the basics they were talking about, we'd forgotten about. Because you're always on to the next new thing. You think, actually, I should focus on that core thing again. There's some great takeaways from that. We had Mal McCallion from
Just explain who Mal is, because not everybody knows.
So Mal runs a company called Model Prop, which is an AI-based company. So Mal recently did or is still doing a tour of the UK called the Rightmove Resistance Tour.
Yeah, controversially.
Controversially named, but great clickbait for a lot of agents.
So it's Chris Watkins' school of clickbait.
Yeah, exactly. So Mal is a brain, and Mal and I have incredible geek outs, as you can probably imagine, together.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
We've got another one next week as well. So Mal he's got a suite of great AI products, and we didn't really get to touch on those at the conference so much because it was about the Rightmove Resistance. That's the one everyone wanted to know about.
Yeah, of course. That's a clickbait, isn't it?
And what he's working on is probably the most likely thing to disrupt Rightmove that I've ever seen. There's been a lot of pretenders to disrupt Rightmove.
COVID being one of them, of course.
COVID being one of them, on the market saying CoStar's going to fund us to the rooftops, and we're going to do that. Or Zoopla, I think, have now accepted their position, but originally they were going to disrupt Rightmove. So everyone's had a bit of even Google at one point and Facebook Marketplace have had a look at property listings and things like that, but Rightmove has still remained there. But AI is changing. Not everything, because that's too big a statement, but it's changing a hell of a lot.
Rather than how it's presented to us.
Yeah, and
it's how we're looking at it rather than how it's been. It's it's not just about pages anymore. It's about our experience.
And when you think of it as from an estate agency perspective, there's two things. One is, how do you find us as an agency? So how do we get across that we're really good on AI? How do we get in those recommended by AI? Because that's what you want. It's the old page one of Google.
Yes.
How do you get on the first result of AI? Yeah. So that's the first thing. And secondly is the property search. They're the two most important things. How do they find us, and how do they find our properties?
And that's something we're all learning as we go along, isn't it, really?
Yeah, and this is, like I say, every now and then.
And even AI's learning, so we've got to try and catch up with whatever they've worked out.
And as we mentioned at the conference, we're in dial-up mode of AI. We're nowhere near fibre, but it's coming very, very quickly. And I think you mentioned it earlier, the incumbents who sit and wait to see what everyone else does, that's such a dangerous game now, because the speed that's happening.
The leagues ahead, I mean, the tool we're playing with at the moment, you said that's taken, just in a few days. It hasn't. It's taken years of research and knowledge to build that basic set of data. Yeah. And then what you guys did is gave us the final piece of the jigsaw to start plugging it all in through the FIA conference and through the speakers you had. So you had Mal, so he was there. Who else did we have?
We had myself.
Yep. Which was obviously the highlight of the day.
Yeah, we had an expert panel.
Yep.
So we had Christopher Watkin, who led the panel for me. Then we had Ben Madden, Kirsty was on there, Kirsty Franks, and then we had two FIA women owners, business owners of the FIA, and that was really important just to get the women's perspective. Women in the estate agency is a great group.
Yeah, so it was about women in the estate agency, the panel, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had Louise Young, who's an FIA member, and Carolyn Murphy from Chartwell, who you know, was on there as well. So yeah, we just, it's just. The event just covered the important subjects and just makes it's a place for everyone in industry and in the FIA, and I think it's important that we have that equality.
Absolutely,
and get that balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get that balance right.
It is very definitely a relevant thing at the moment.
Yeah, and there's no excuses not to, So
yeah.
That was the speaker lineup. Then we had a really raw presentation from Chris Ellis.
Really powerful.
Which touched on mental health and the struggles of agency, because we're all very friendly and happy and all this kind of stuff at the conference.
As agents, we've got a shield that we put up, haven't we?
It's a massive shield, but that's people in life as well. A lot of people have a shield, but Chris really let his guard down and said, "This is what I've been through."
It was very raw. It was fantastic, actually.
And I think it hit a lot of notes for people in the audience, and for me as well personally, from the journeys we go through as business owners, that it's bloody difficult. And sometimes you get to that point where you just can't take any more. And I think a lot of us have got to that point, and you've got to try and work your own way, find your own way through it. Yeah. But Chris telling it from the heart, it was a really brave thing to do.
It was, bless him, you could tell he was nervous, and not only nervous because of standing in front of hundreds of people, but also, he was going to be laying himself bare there and opening up. And that was, I think it was hugely powerful. And we, sat where we were, was sitting there going, I can relate to a lot of that, because COVID was a tough period. We all faced very massive challenges, some more than others in various different ways. But what was really fascinating was that he he really went all out and told us everything. He went
did.
through the sort of peaks and the troughs and how he managed to cope and what he did to get through that. And that was great. And I think, having Ben Madden there as well, I know Ben and Christian Byfield and Toby Martin and myself and Spencer Lawrence, part of the boys club, which is a new thing as well. So hopefully next year we'll be able to persuade you to get us up there.
Definitely. Let's do it. Yeah.
Have boys and boys on one side and the women and estate agency on the other.
Yeah.
So, but it's just sort of comparing notes in terms of the challenges and what each side faces in terms of the industry that we have.
Well, I think it's that as well, and being in the FIA again, it's a bit cheesy to say we're a big family, but it has that feeling about it. And you've got someone like Chris now that has said to everybody there, look, if you're ever struggling, just give me a call.
Yeah, he sort of puts himself out there, doesn't he? At 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm on the treadmill or whatever it is.
He does, but sometimes that hardship and the struggle can hit you even when you're in mega success mode. You never know when it's going to happen, and it can just hit you. But that's the great thing. And like now they've got someone to call who's in the same industry as them, the same line of work, is happy to take the call, and they know they're going to be not going to judge them.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. When you phone someone for help, you think, are they going to judge me? Should I be doing this? But Chris will go, come and see me. Let's go for a lunch.
It's really powerful, and it's the same as the Agents Together situation, the boys club situation, the women estate agency, but also the FIA, isn't it? Where you have got agents who, I know that there is a number of people at the FIA who I've spoken to regularly enough that if I were to pick up a phone and go, I'm finding it a bit tough.
Yeah.
And I'm in a bit of a trough and I can't get out of it.
Yeah.
And I've got business partners and I've got staff, but I just need somebody else to talk it through.
That's it.
That actually, I wouldn't be surprised if, do you know what? Give us 5 minutes, I'm going to drop everything and we're going to jump on a Zoom chat. Yeah. Or if I'm close enough, give me an hour and I'll be with you.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's something hugely powerful in a network there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Good, excellent. Okay, so that was, and Simon Gates, of course, don't forget Simon.
Simon opened the show, didn't he? With his wonderful stats that he has and everything else. And
give us some of his stats. Come on, you can't do all that research on stats.
This is where I need Simon on speed dial, isn't it? So Simon,
I'll tell you what we'll do. And this was, and we'll put subtitles underneath so we can get them from Simon.
He's got to the point where everyone else represents the FIA now, and I just sort of sit in the background. I'm useless, really.
Puppeteer.
I know nothing, but no, the stats are amazing, and the FIA is a group. I think we're around 1% of the whole market now in terms of sales volume. So it's not a small number. It's a small number, but it's a big number.
Yeah.
Not easy to get to those sort of levels.
You're still a very early days network, aren't you? So
yeah, we're still a pup, really. Yeah, absolutely. But what you can see is the absolute, the quality of what we're doing, and the results. Not just the quality, but the performance of the agents in the FIA. So talk about the Selfridges analogy. It's you can see there's a demonstrable difference of how quickly an FIA member will sell your home, how much more money an FIA member will receive for their home, how much percentage of the asking price. It's always higher.
That's 20 EA, isn't it? That's
20 EA,
to drill down on that data.
And I think, and Simon will kill me if I get this wrong, but I think it was an FIA member agent is 17% more likely to sell a home than anybody else outside the FIA.
That's extraordinary, isn't it?
So it seems to be working.
That's a combination of factors, isn't it? That's the hive mind working to raise the bar and raise our game, but it's also the fact that you are selecting the very best agents to join and make sure that brand level and that quality and that ability and that talent in the business and the entrepreneurial mindset of the person who owns it or is a part of the leadership team there is of a certain standard.
Yeah, and
you wouldn't join the FIA unless you were of that, would you?
No, because you wouldn't fit in. And I think the other members would look at me and go, "What are you doing?" Which is not good for me. So I think it needs to get to that point, and I think we're getting there with the awareness stat about the FIA being the most known network out of all of them, and we're only 6 years old.
That's fantastic.
So, ahead of the Guild and RAN and Property Mark, etc. We were there. So that was an incredible stat as well about the FIA being known. That came from Simon Ledbetter's research.
Yeah. So that's independent research out there.
Yeah, it's unprompted research. Yeah.
Simon Gates who's encouraged to promote and push.
That's right.
It's somebody who's come independently.
And we won the Best Agent Network at the Esters last year. We're up again this year for the shortlist. Somehow I've made it onto the person shortlist. I don't quite know how that happened, but
somebody's entered you.
That is incredible. Morning. Yeah, morning. But it needs to get to that point. I think we can get it there where a member of the public, which is really important, sees the FIA badge or the association and goes, I know I'm dealing with a good agent here. I know they're almost looking for that because there's nothing else to hang their hat on. There's
It becomes
NAEA,
recognisable at that point, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's sort of brand elevation at that point, isn't it?
yeah, and that's the tipping point where we go, right, we're doing this properly. We're known by the public, not just in private, in the industry, but outside the industry, people are now going, I'm going to use them because of that. Because they're more likely to sell my home, because they're more likely to give me a better service. And they charge a bit more, that's okay too. Because I think that what we charge as a collective, or averaged out as a collective, is much higher than the industry average fee. Chris Ellis spoke about it. Overnight, just put his fees up from 1 to 1.5%, I think it was, and it made that work.
It was something that was accepted because you could demonstrate it through the tools that you got through the FIA.
And members do use the brand excellently for that. They'll say, we are a bit more expensive. It's because of X, Y, and Z, and the FIA membership forms one of those X, Y, or Z slots, and it helps them to get a better fee.
We were just talking about public visibility and how being able to use the FIA brand has helped people elevate their game, raise their fees, and win more instructions because 17% more chance of getting a property sold through the FIA, etc. So let's talk about that. Let's expand on that a bit further then. So what does the future of the FIA look like? Because you've got momentum now, you're starting to build the network. What does the future look like?
Good question. It's a difficult one because, like I said before, it's hard to find. It'd be great to have 1,000 members, but it's just logistically not possible for a start because of the exclusive territories. So there's a finite number that we can have
before it becomes over-diluted.
Before it becomes difficult or impossible to grow because we just filled up all the slots and that's it. So the FIA at some point will close the doors. Whether that be the FIA 100, the FIA 200, there'll be a number where that's it. So the only way you will be able to get in then is if somebody leaves and you've got to wait for that.
Right, so it's a sort of a waiting list. Morning.
Yeah, it'll become a waiting list. And I think what that does, it enhances the opportunity to cherry pick the best of the best. Because at that point,
then the bar does raise, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we could raise the standards even higher and go, now we're going to introduce this because we need to go to the next level of quality. And there may be one or two that fall foul of that. You never know at that point. So it's just getting the balancing act right between the quality and the quantity. But I'm much more, what's the word? Hell bent on the quality.
Yes.
So if it's 100, it's 100. If it ends there, then that's it. But I think the optimum number of members is probably 200 to 250.
Okay.
That's
quite a powerful number, isn't it?
It's a good number.
That's a number that says take us seriously, but doesn't lose that personal touch, perhaps.
Yeah, because you want to get to a stage, and we'll come on to it, I'm sure, about sharing leads with each other.
Yeah.
And the great thing is, the bigger we get, the more opportunities come along like that, because we can learn, like, and trust each other to pass leads across.
Well, examples of that. So we've had Carolyn and Carter from Carter Oliver in Lutterworth sent over a lead to us in Herefordshire. We've gone out there, we've converted that lead, just about to be instructed on it, to £600,000-700,000 property. We're going to take it to auction, there'll be a 3% fee on that. Phenomenal opportunity. And of course, likewise, we've sent it over to them, an opportunity for an equestrian property. So that it does work.
It does,
and there's always messages flying around saying, have you got this, have you got that, are we working here, are we working there?
Yeah, and I think it's an important point, and that's why the volume does matter. It matters for two reasons. Three reasons. One is we want to be more established and known by the public, so you need those numbers to do that.
Yes.
2 is the lead sharing opportunities, and 3 is supplier deals. When I speak to suppliers, they want distribution. That's their holy grail, right? How do I get distribution?
They want the numbers to be able to sell to, don't they?
Yeah, so if I go to an independent, it's hard work. I've got to get in there and I've got to go to the next one. If I go to the FIA and I've got distribution to 70 or 100, really good.
What's a ready-made client base then, isn't it?
Ready-made, and the FIA are spenders. They take chances.
They're to invest in the
they invest in their businesses. They don't sit still. All the FIA members are prepared to spend money on the right products. Yeah. Not the wrong products. So that's important because there's so many, and PropTech is a tiring expression, right? But I think we're slowly.
Well, having started a business 2 years ago, I can tell you that I still feel the hangover from PropTech fatigue.
Yeah.
It was exhausting.
Yeah.
And what is very powerful for us, and you were, if not top 5, top 3 people that we phoned the minute we knew we were going to be setting up our business, because I knew that, you didn't have a clue of what we were going to be doing, But I phoned up and said, look, we're going to be doing this. Is this of interest to the FIA? And that was, it was great conversation. But for me, what was the most powerful thing is it's pretty much cost neutral by the time you factor in the discounts. So as a membership model, why wouldn't you do it? But also that collaborative mindset, that sort of that network of people who work together, I've always found to be really powerful.
Yeah.
And business owners, as you say, who support each other. So when it comes to the future then, so we're going to grow, we're going to be looking maybe 200, 250. What sort of things is that going to look like? Because that's going to be really tough for you to manage. How are you going to manage that? What are you going to make it look like?
Well, someone told me there's this thing called AI that's coming soon.
I've heard of that.
And there's automations and things like that. So we're a lean business, as you know. And I think that's the secret to it. It's remaining lean, making sure automations are done in a speedy way. People don't necessarily need, no one phones me and says, got this valuation coming up and need some advice about how to win this instruction and things like that. It's like that. There's not a need for that kind of thing. And if there was ever anything like that, the members are best placed to go to each other and ask that question. So I think I think we can get there very lean. That obviously keeps the membership cost down as well, which is important. That makes it accessible and not to a point where people go, that's a bit of a chunk of money.
Idea, but,
so we have to make it accessible to people as well. So I think it'll be fascinating to see what happens and what the power of it looks like by then. But I think by then a lot's going to change, and by then I mean maybe 5 years time, when we maybe hit that point. If you think where we are now with everything, and AI we talk about a lot, and people are probably tired of me talking about it, but that is going to change a lot about how the industry, not just the industry, but how people are accessing what they need. That's what's driving it. So how is Gen Z looking for what they want now, and how do we as an industry respond to that? And I think that's going to form a massive part of the change in the industry that we're going to see in the next 5 years. And as a network, we need to be responsive to that. So if there is another AI portal, if Mal McCallion pulls off what he wants to do, the FIA needs to be at the front of that. And if we are, that's going to be a huge benefit for all of our members in the future. And we want to make sure as a network, when someone does type into ChatGPT, find me the best agent in Worcester, we want it to say, there is one.
Make sure that they're the FIA.
But make sure they're FIA. And that's already happening now, as we demonstrated at the conference.
We'll talk about that, because I think that's a really important piece of information to share, that if you tap into ChatGPT, which is the future, which is the future of search, isn't it? As we found out, Google have now got a lesser market share, so less than 80% now of all search tools. People are now searching through AI, whether it's ChatGPT, Grok, or otherwise. Talk us through what you explained there.
So if somebody types in, find me a great estate agent in Worcester, it will return some recommendations, and it will say, this is what you need to look for. And this often, and it's not every time, but it's getting there, is the second recommendation by ChatGPT, or the third, and sometimes the first, will be find out if they're a local FIA member.
Wow.
Because the FIA stands for high quality, better chance of selling. So we feed the information constantly into Gemini, ChatGPT and Grok to say, when someone does that, can you please make sure that we're there? You can't tell it to do that, but it's what you do around it, the bigger scope of us being in the industry, whether it's property industry or estate agent today. We're pretty good at getting press releases out and things like that. Our socials are pretty strong, and our members that link back to us are performing at such a high level that by association means that they're picking up on these things. So when we win 20, 30 Esters in one night,
which does happen,
AI is looking for who's the best. So if you're looking for the word great, it's got to go and find great. How does it do that? Reviews and awards, things like that. So by association, the members have made it powerful. So it's just a really good circle to be in.
That's nice. So as you say, it learns and
so we've just got to keep doing what we're doing, really. But if you ask Gemini, ChatGPT are the two that most people kind of use, I think, nowadays. The FIA will be referenced to the point where if you keep asking it and you force it to say, look, that's great, but recommend me one that suits what I want.
So really drill down on that.
It did, the example I did at the conference did drill down to Charles David Castle, for example, in Chelmsford, to say they're the ones you need, because they satisfy everything you need. And the FIA was part of that conversation that I was having with the computer. effectively.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really powerful stuff. Yeah.
It is. At the moment, nobody's paying to be at the top, so all the while that's not happening, take advantage of it and make sure you're plugging it in, as you say.
Yeah.
So okay, so lovely. Well, one last question then, before we wrap up and go and grab some much needed lunch and in a cooler place than it is now. I know you're fine with this because Dubai and all that, but a bit too warm for me. Your controversial opinion on the estate agency industry. We always ask people to give their controversial opinion that you don't often share.
Right.
What would you say about this industry? You tend to keep to yourself. Don't worry, nobody watches this anyway. So just
until now, right?
Until now, yeah. So we'll just splice this bit and stick it all over LinkedIn. But what is your controversial opinion?
Well, I think we touched on it earlier, and it's about Rightmove. That I think Rightmove is good value for money still. I'm not saying they're not greedy, but if we just break it down to a layman's an economic perspective, when I was an agent, I was paying £1,000 a week to get 16 colour properties in a local paper. So couldn't please everybody. So every week you had to rotate, and it would be annoying for people that couldn't do it. So that was £4 a month. And I was getting to the chink for Guardian only. That was it. That was my reach.
Hyper-local.
Hyper-local. So if you look at Rightmove, if they were £4 a month, which they might be now, I don't know. They might. Some are paying that, right?
Some are, yeah.
Per branch. That's probably a top end, I think, to be fair, per branch. It's still good value. But I get why,
So it's about contact.
Yeah. It's so controversial that I think it's good value, but actually it is good value. The controversy, I think, comes from the hatred of Rightmove from some agents that think it's unfair. And I agree with that, that the pricing is a little bit unfair. In terms of it's different for different companies, or it's different for corporates or the founding corporates, and that's what really annoys people. But pound for pound versus how we used to do it, it's good value, right?
It's all relative. Interesting. Good. Well done. Anything else you want to add in before we finish up?
I don't think so. No, I think that's good. Yeah, thank you.
Good. Well, no,
thanks for the plug.
No, not at all.
I wasn't expecting. I was just going to be a general.
Yeah. Well, I'm a massive fan of all things FIA, and I think what I love about it is that collaboration, predominantly the collaboration, but most importantly, it's your values and what you bring to this. And that's one of the reasons I picked up the phone to you when it was like, Stu, George, you've got to meet Graham because his values are so aligned with ours.
Thank you.
That it's important that if we're to grow as a business, we need to. I'm a huge fan of, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and so I'm constantly looking for the very best people that we can surround ourselves with. Sometimes we don't always get it right, and sometimes we do. And I'm a huge believer in the FIA being something that actually, if you are to raise your average, this is a network that you need to be a part of. And I'm not being paid to say that. That's not something, we pay our subs, we do our things, we do the same as everybody else.
Yeah.
But actually as a network, it is great, and the people within it are fantastic. And to see that we've gone from 50 odd when we first started, when we first had our conversation, to now up to sort of 70 odd, and then we're going to find ourselves up to a level sort of beyond that. That's very exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. I think it's just that keeping that quality is really important.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing for me. But as it gets bigger, I think, the supplier discounts will get better. It just helps, if you're paying 295 quid a month and we're giving you, 600 quid in product.
Yeah.
You go, well,
it's cost neutral, why wouldn't you?
We're making money now. It's a good place to stay.
And that's where the values come down to it, isn't it?
Yeah, and then the intangibles is just the icing, but it's the best part of the icing, isn't it?
Isn't it just,
on the cake.
It's
a bit we look forward to.
And the conference is great fun. And some of the photographs should only stay in the WhatsApp group, frankly. For
yes, I think people have fun. One or too many shandies, don't they? And they get a little bit. And it's late at night. Everyone's. There's plenty of it. Come on, they're going to piss them. The people that didn't go or in bed, they're going to hate you.
It's good you switch it off and see it all in the morning.
We started to create an idea of an FIA away weekend.
Oh goodness.
In Spain.
Oh.
And having an off-site for everyone to come, and because they'll get on so well.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
It's remarkable that they're so friendly with each other.
We'll save that for an exclusive, shall we?
Yeah.
Amazing. Look, Graham, thank you so much for making the effort to come all this way.
Oh, you're welcome.
It is appreciated, and thank you for sharing about the FIA. It's really insightful, and I'm sure everyone will have enjoyed it.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, Ross.